Welcome to a new episode of We Are Around the World. Every day a new episode. Don't forget to support us by subscribing to the channel and liking and admiring. Hello and welcome back to Life's Biggest Questions. I'm Rob Mackenzie Lafergie today. We'll be continuing our journey through the Cthulhu mythos and talking about possibly the most powerful of all Lovecraft's deities, Yog-Sothoth. This omniscient and all-powerful outer god has been summoned a number of times in works of fiction. But what if it was actually real? Let's explore. If you want more What If videos, check out our biggest What Ifs playlist on the channel. Now get ready, it's time to ask the question, what if Yog-Sothoth was real first? It should be stressed just how powerful Yog-Sothoth would be. Yog-Sothoth is one of the outer gods, who are essentially the gods of the old gods. In a way, the outer gods are Cthulhu, as Cthulhu is a human. However, it gets even worse because Yog-Sothoth is one of the most powerful of the outer gods, so you do not want to get on his bad side. The name of Yog-Sothoth was first found in Lovecraft. The case of Charles Dexter Ward is an all-knowing, all-seeing, and all-powerful being said to exist at all points in time. Simultaneously, it's the embodiment of all of time and space across the multiverse. Yog-Sothoth is the grandfather of Cthulhu and grandson of Asotha, although Yog-Sothoth is deemed by many to be even more powerful than its grandfather as a Thoth. Check out our video entitled, What If Azathoth Was Real? These names are getting confusing, too many thoughts. I'll be using the name of Yog-Sothoth quite a bit for the rest of the video, so to save my sanity and yours, I'll use nicknames from now on. As with many works of Lovecraft, physical descriptions of yogas are kept rather vague. This is largely because humans wouldn't even be able to perceive it properly. A common trait among Lovecraft's monsters, this inconceivable appearance causes it to be described rather differently by various people, but there are some similarities. For example, it's generally seen as a large number of glowing spheres, constantly merging and breaking apart. Sometimes tendrils are involved, as is common in these disturbing tales. As with other Lovecraftian gods, it's believed that viewing Yagi Baby would cause a person to go insane. However, in this case, it's said that even learning too much about it can lead one to insanity. And I can personally vouch for that after having researched and written several Lovecraft videos thus far. I'm starting to feel a little insane myself. Despite its incredible power, the Yogmeister has been summoned by humans several times in fiction in order to complete a variety of tasks. It's used similarly to genies and demons in folklore. Interestingly, the Yogman is sometimes seen as benevolent, choosing to help those who request it, which is a departure from other creatures, the Cthulhu mythos, that tend to either want to take over humanity or just don't give a damn. For example, in The Dunnage Horror, a 1928 short story by Lovecraft, Yog-Sothoth was summoned by a crazy man in order to impregnate his mortal daughter to create monstrous offspring in Lovecraft, The Haunter of the Dark. It was summoned by protagonist Robert Blake to save him from the entity he had inadvertently released. Furthermore, it was implied in the case of Charles Dexter Ward that he can be called to revive the dead, since incantations for raising the dead included the name of Yog-Sothoth Yoder. God was even in the Doctor Who episode The Snowman. Known in this case as the Great Intelligence, it helped the young Walter Simeon to gain power, forming something of a symbiotic relationship. All this is to say that it has been called upon to perform a wide variety of things and could likely be used for even more if it was in the mood, given the incredible things you could do with an all-powerful god at your side. If it was real, it's likely that people would continue to attempt to summon the beast in hopes of using it to their own ends. This can either go very well for them or very badly if it worked, and Yog the bounty hunter was as benevolent as some stories told. Then rituals for summoning the being would be incredibly valuable. If you have an omnipotent god helping you to reach your goals, there isn't a whole lot you can't do. Societies would spring up that worship the youngster and attempted to use its power to their advantage. It's unclear how Yog-Dog would decide who to help. It could be that it would help anyone who asked it. Could be that it would be more likely to help those who were more in need, as in the case of Robert Blake. It could also be that the ritual itself would impact its decision as to whether or not to help its summoner, depending on the proper words, or a valuable sacrifice. Regardless, if it did begin to help those who called it, we might see some incredible supernatural events occurring. If you managed to successfully summon the Ogmon, it would be like finding Aladdin's lamp. If you were on its good side, you could have just about anything you wanted. Money, easy famed, everyone loves you wanna fly. No problem. Wonka looks whelp. There are limits if a religion sprung up that made promises of supernatural gifts and incredible success, and was actually able to deliver on these claims. It could be that many people, both religious and irreligious, would move over to this new religion. However, that's not to say that it would always go well. Given Clifford the Big Red Hawk's propensity to turn onlookers insane, it could be that you would unintentionally go insane just from trying to summon it. Furthermore, if he found your wish or your ritual to be lacking, you could well face some serious punishment, and we're not talking about a slap on the wrist punishment from Yagi Boy could mean an eternity of torture. So while you could definitely benefit from summoning the beast, the risk would be rather significant. And now we return to our question, what if Yog-Sothoth was real? Well, this would depend largely on whether or not it was inclined to help. If it was, it could be that we would start to see people around the world suddenly come into great wealth and power, or show incredible abilities, whatever one might wish for. We would possibly begin to see more often. However, if it was not inclined to help people either due to its personality or insufficient need or sacrifice, we might